This is the One Piece Podcast, episode 848 for the week of Monday, December 23rd, 2024. My name is Zach.
And my name is Ed.
And my name is Alex.
And on today's episode of the show, we have a very special guest translator for One Piece and in Weekly Shonen Jump and Manga Plus, and Akane Banashi. Let's give it a... I don't know where I was going with that. We have Stephen Paul with us. How's it going, Stephen?
Hey, I'm super busy right now. So I'll just tell you right off the bat, I'm gonna stick around for the manga recap, but that is probably all.
So I'm sure you're happy this week because both Akane and Luffy are on the cover of Jump.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a few minutes. But
Stephen Paul is super busy. Is there another job you've taken up recently that?
Yeah, your job is...
It's called being overdue on assignments.
Oh, no.
With the holidays approaching, yeah.
Don't tell them that. Holidays. Anyway, we also have...
I need to reemphasize the word super.
Oh.
Which is the joke I was going.
You did not make that clear. We have anime recap host Sam Leach with us, and since there's no anime recap, Sam, what have you been doing with yourself?
There's no anime?
I'm sorry that this had to be the venue I told you.
I thought I was just procrastinating.
A lot. You were procrastinating so much that the production had to cease for a period of time. Welcome back, Sam.
Hello. Long time no here?
Yeah.
Wasn't
we also have academic researcher all around awesome Dr. Raylene Gomez. How's it going, Dr. Gomez?
Hi, everyone. It's such a pleasure to be back on this. It's always a wonderful experience. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming back.
You were in Japan recently, right?
My Japan trip is happening in March. I've been traveling all over the country recently. I've been going to anime conventions for research. I went to Texas a couple of weeks ago. I was in Chicago this weekend. I'm going to LA in February, and then Vegas.
I didn't know there was a convention in Chicago.
Yeah, Cornell Delete is like a December winter one.
Okay.
And
where was it?
There's no Rosemont, like one of the conventions.
Oh, that's where ASEN is. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Okay.
and then in Texas, I went to Anime Frontier, which is sponsored by Crunchyroll. So yeah, I've been going to a lot of them. It's really fun.
How many cons did we go to the first year of the podcast, Zach?
Too many.
Yeah, a lot.
The answer is too many.
Enough to interview Tatum and Christopher Sabat like 6-7 times each.
That's not. Anyway. I know this is the time of year to be wistful and nostalgic, but let's talk about the future. Because I'm sure that's great. There's a bunch of news out on the One Piece end. We talked a lot about Yao. His official graduation ceremony happened as of this recording yesterday.
Didn't he give the new actor the Speedos? The
Yeah.
Speedos?
The red one, right? He gave it away.
Yeah.
I want to talk about Yao first, then we could talk about the replacement for Frankie.
This was all Jump Festa, by the way. Let's just preface that is where all
I was
this news
going
is coming
to.
out of. Okay.
Yeah. Actually, Stephen, maybe we should just start with Oda's message. I don't know if you have that in front of you.
Yes, I do. I have the one that was posted in English on Eiichiro staff. Do you want me to read it or do you want me to summarize it?
Your call. All you.
Okay, well, I said I was cramped for time, so I will summarize it. He of course, this is about Yao, as we've been talking about the last few weeks. They did announce his passing of the torch, or the Speedo, as we have discussed. And so Oda has a mention of the Kamabaka-ish bar that they went to, which Greg was talking about in our SGS last week. He's brought that up before. That was back during the Ganzak OVA anime tour days, very, very long ago. And so he has a personal message for Yao there. And then he talks about the year in review. They have the One Piece base app, which is only in Japan, so I don't even really know what that is. But they've definitely been advertising it. He expresses his gratitude to the staff for the anime and for fan letter, which was amazing. that he got to go to South Africa for the filming of the live action series.
And to do an interview with Iñaki.
Yes, which
Netflix posted that on YouTube.
Mm-hmm. Yes, if you haven't seen that, definitely
listen to Iñaki speak Japanese.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And then he has this interesting comment. People ask him, why are you putting so much effort into a live action adaptation when One Piece is already popular around the world? He says, yes, it may be quite known internationally in the manga and anime realm, but wouldn't you want to go and explore a bigger playground out there in the world? So that's why he is putting his all into everything. And he also says, look forward to the anime series resuming, and with an approach that's more in tune with the times, I'm sure it'll be easier for everyone to enjoy. Which I don't know. Some people have speculated.
I wonder what that means.
That means maybe series, like Coors style.
Seasons.
Yes.
Yeah. Seasons. I guess they did announce, I'm not sure if a deal had it in the notes, but when it returns, it's not going to be at 9:30 in the morning. It's going to be at 11:15 p.m. now on Sundays. So it is going to have a different time slot for sure.
So I'm sure the streaming episode will get posted at a different time then too, probably.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
That's probably Sunday mornings, is that?
I think it's almost the same time as the manga. I think it's 45 minutes difference because it's at midnight, I think. So it's 45 minutes. It takes an hour still, right? For it to get posted, I think. There's like still a little lag. So it'll get probably posted almost simultaneously with the manga. So that'll be fun.
And then the last paragraph, of course, is his manga statement. As for the manga, we've finally arrived in Elbaf. It's a laid-back kingdom, but the serenity is about to be shattered by the arrival of a particular man. Meanwhile, there will be tumult in other seas as well. And at last, that one guy will begin shaking up the world. Take a deep breath now, because soon you may not be able to come up for air. Please look forward to a super year of One Piece in 2025. Now, was this the 2024 statement, or was it the 2023, or the 2022, or the 2021? Because
I was going to say your summary turned into a just...
I really think that he's referring to Enru here because he's got the thunder fruits. He's going to start rumbling the world.
What about Blackbeard? He has the quake fruit, and he could start rumbling.
Yeah. I just want Enru back.
Well,
I know
there is a pretty explicit. It feels like the breath comment feels like it's about the flooding specifically.
I was going to say the world's sinking, so
yeah. Let me
double
check that because let me look
do.
at the Japanese because
it also just feels kind of like poetic. What's the word for it? Like
it's an idiom.
Flourish, like a flourish in the speech.
It's an embellishment.
I wonder if the particular man is literally referring to this week's chapter.
Okay.
Which we'll get to, obviously.
I think so.
So he does say, get your breath aligned or get your breath in order because you may not be able to breathe soon or something.
I think that's more like
it's fairly
gasping.
close. But yeah.
This man's been over-gasped. It's that.
It's the excitement.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm making a reference that no one got. Yeah, I think as far to work backwards here, we talked a little bit about the anime, and it's coming back on April 4th, as you said, at a new time slot. I think the time slot's fine. I think the seasonal thing is good, too. It's a big
We don't have any
adjustment.
confirmation on that. We're just speculating on that.
Yeah, we don't know that.
No, the second part we're speculating on, but I feel like it wouldn't be so far out of bounds, especially with what's coming up next in the anime.
Maybe it would be easier on the production staff as well. Hopefully,
I think he did. Didn't he say something like, so everyone enjoys it more. It'll be easier for everyone to enjoy. That made me think it was seasonal. Like that sounds like okay. Even the staff could take a little rest.
Or if it's just a tease of like more Netflix availability or something.
Yeah, true.
Could be.
Streaming is more important these days, even in Japan, it sounds like.
I've been liking the idea of like spending like half the year with new episodes and then like half the year doing like the remaster logged episodes.
Provided
cut them
they
down
do a
even
good
more.
job. Yeah.
Yeah. Like
now Fishman Island, it's 2 episodes. They just do Fishman Island every time. And it just cuts.
Yeah, like we
further
finish
down.
Egghead, and then they do Punk Hazard, and then they do
Yeah.
Elbaf, and then they do the first half of Dressrosa, and then
I like that idea. I think that is a good idea.
Sorry, guys.
Second half of Dressrosa.
We heard you loud and clear. So now we're bringing you Fishman Island remastered. Recut again.
Double remastered.
That's what DVDs are for. Yeah, honestly, wouldn't be a bad idea.
Oh, isn't there also news about the English physical release?
Yes.
New volumes.
Yeah, so there's a couple other pieces of news. Was there anything with Jump Festa though that everyone? Oh, there was actually one more thing with Jump Festa we should talk about. And that's we talked a little bit about Yao. Did everyone get a chance to see? I haven't yet actually to see the live stream. Alex?
The One Piece stage was basically them, generally every year the voice actors of all the Straw Hats do some famous lines from either this past year of the manga or whatever is happening currently in the anime. I don't remember which, but this time around they all did lines with they did lines with Yao, voice lines. And
I'm not ever gonna make any jokes there.
Yeah, they did some voice lines with Yao. Basically, all of his a good chunk of
They do any Django?
Frankie scenes. No, just Frankie.
Okay.
No Bon Clay either. Which this is sort of just a Straw Hat farewell to Frankie.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
Yeah.
everybody got to say a little something. And Mayumi Tanaka, I believe, cried. Couldn't actually hold back tears. And then they erupted into everybody sang Family together. And
I did see that, yeah.
It's very sweet. And you can tell that they love him a lot. So it's I'd say it's bittersweet, but it's actually really sad to watch, for me anyway. And then I believe beforehand he hands over the Speedo to the new voice actor, Subaru Kimura. So I am not super familiar with this fella.
Well, Steven, should we start with the good news or the bad news? Do you know the bad news?
I mean, I heard some controversial things about him. I wish we had Joey on actually, because he apparently was familiar with. I believe he has also done tokusatsu acting or something.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'll talk about the bad news after because I looked through what Joey sent me at least, or sent everyone. You want to talk about the good news, Alex? I don't know if you have his voice roles or what in
The
front of
good
you.
news, I guess that's good news.
No,
I
I
don't know.
The
he's-
regular news.
Yeah, he's on the new Doraemon, the latest Doraemon anime as Gyan, and he's been in stuff like Gun the Bill Fighters, Assassination Classroom. He plays Ryoma. He was
I really enjoyed Ass Class.
Yeah, I remember when Ass Class was a thing. Yeah,
Toto in Jujutsu Kaisen.
yep. There you go. I don't know who that is, but he's a guy in that.
Clap Oogie Boogie.
Yeah.
And he has done a One Piece role. He was young Buggy, I guess, during the
Odin flashback?
The Oden flashback, yeah. I think it looks like he is German born. So I wonder if perhaps he was hired because he actually can speak English, or has a grasp, a pretty decent grasp on the English language as far as like saying super and other catchphrases.
It's the only qualification needed.
Yeah.
Zach, you want to get to the bad news?
So the bad news, he did blackface in 2020.
And some other stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we could start there.
In what context? I'm curious.
That's what I'm looking for. I think there was an article on Vox that even specifically mentions him, which I'm looking at now. I should have done this before.
Well,
it was like some
our
like his
listeners-
management group did like a cosplay
Oh yeah.
Party or
photo
something.
series.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And I guess he
Um,
also raps, so I think that's
Okay.
maybe why he.
All right, because I know that a few years ago, one of the big Japanese comedians got in trouble for dressing up as Eddie Murphy on a New Year's special. dressing up as Eddie Murphy from Beverly Hills Cop, and just totally blacked up for it. And it was
there's a lot of examples of that, like going back decades. It's definitely something where like they just there is not the same level of like social understanding of like the delicacy of of sort of acting out a role for Black people in Japan. And so there's a history of stuff like that, which I'm sure like partially is like they generally get some like very indirect blowback where people will hear about like, oh, I guess people were upset about something, but there's no like internal like domestic within Japan like sort of population that is large enough to call them out and like to reinforce the thing of like, hey, like people are going to be really upset if you do this. Like there's a particular history at play here that you are going to get in trouble for it. And so unfortunately stuff like that does happen.
I'll say like doing minimal research, I haven't been able to like, well, I mean, I guess it would be in Japanese media if it were anywhere. There's just not a lot out there about it. It might just be more that he isn't the most prominent person on the face of the earth, but I'm sure things will be dug up.
The impression I get from people who are more familiar with him is like he has kind of an infamous reputation of being like kind of obnoxious or like people don't like his personality on top of the blackface, and like that's a bad that's a combination that
looks like he's also going to be the youngest Straw Hat by like 30 years.
Oh yeah,
or something. He is 34.
He's younger than me. Great.
Yeah. I do wonder how he ended up, like, if there was an audition process, or maybe Yao knows him through tokusatsu things.
I subscribe to what you and Greg were saying last week, Steven. Like the idea that he was saying that they don't really do auditions for Seiyu there, and that they didn't want a voice alike. Like they wanted to go in their own direction because they don't do that there. And I guess it's not respectful to the Seiyu. So
I think he said he could see a reason for that, but I don't know that he knew for sure.
Oh, no, I think that this was all his speculation.
Yes,
I agree
guess,
with that.
Yeah, I'm looking at his other credits and stuff too, and he does a lot of English dubbing for or dubbing for English movies. He's basically the de facto live action dub voice for Taron Egerton, if you remember from the Kingsman movies.
He was the Elton John movie.
Yeah, Rocket Man. And I'm looking at his resume, and it's pretty extensive in that realm. So he's got an extensive resume, and when I Googled him, he seems to be like he's in a lot of he seems to be very popular as far as just like getting his face out there goes. But that's as much as I've just seen it, so I'm no expert.
Yeah. Besides the little I've seen there on the good and the bad, that's Yao is irreplaceable is all I have to say. Which we all
100%.
know.
100%.
Yeah, 100%.
Big shoes to fill.
Yeah. It's those
you
are
can't fill them.
Sorry,
you can't fill them.
You can't.
Actually, really big speedo to fill.
It's a big speedo to fill. Don't. Okay.
So what kind of counterculture bars will he be taking Oda to?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Let's not think about that.
I'm not going to joke.
I don't know what like his full like range is, but it's like kind of crazy. Like just based off of like JJK. Like, he sounds like exactly what I would imagine like a Japanese Patrick Seitz would sound.
Okay.
So it's like I don't know if it's going to be like a very different Frankie then, or like I guess the young Buggy would probably get a little closer to the Kazuki Yao.
Maybe.
Range. I don't know what they're going for.
I would
kind
go
of
in a different direction. Yeah.
I kind of hope they go for like a high school shithead, like high school punk voice, like that kind of a. You
know who would have been great at that? We were Buggy's voice actor, but I mean he's Buggy. Kuwabara, right?
Are we gonna find out like in
Shigeru
April,
Chiba.
or is he gonna start
Chiba, thank you.
dubbing Fishman Island?
No, I'm sure they're not going to touch any of the Fishman
yeah.
Island stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're just reusing.
That stuff's all in the can, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
It's extremely in the can. It's been in the can for over a decade. So
other pickups and
other quick pieces of news in no specific order. Season 14, Voyage 3, which goes through episode 928, is going to be out on March 25th. So that's what you were talking about earlier. The anime we mentioned returns April 6th. And the other big news, the Los Angeles Lakers are hosting a One Piece night on February 28th, featuring Luffy and the Straw Hats. More info to come.
I think the Boston Red Sox did that this past fall.
Yeah, the Red Sox did it, and then who else? USC did it at a football game,
with the marching band,
with the marching band, and then the Rams, the LA Rams had one too.
Yes,
I'll say the art for the Lakers one looks exponentially better than the stuff that's particularly the Red Sox.
I challenge Japanese producers to discover American city besides Los Angeles.
Well, and you know they're like, how do we get the Dodgers? Like, we need Shohei Ohtani on this right now.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm sure. Yeah. I am positive.
They should get him in the next movie like they did with that swimmer guy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God. The guy with like
that
one line.
Guy.
He was a fisherman, I think.
In Strong World. Yeah.
Yes.
That guy.
Hi, I'm a sports guy cameo here.
Kitamura or something like that, maybe?
I don't remember.
Kosuke Kitajima, maybe?
I will say, I don't think they've discovered New York yet, and we're the only other city in the United States.
Well, they know the New York Times. We know that.
That's true. They know our newspaper twice over at least. That's all the news. Good, bad, ugly, all of that fun stuff. 2025 is gonna, I'm sure, be very interesting in the One Piece world, and looking forward to it, I think. Anyway, we have a manga recap to do for chapter 1130. What are we, 3?
4.
Here, 4? Oh, wow. No, 3, I thought. Well, whatever it is. No, you're right. It's, why am I doubting Steven?
Should we wait to talk about the cover of Jump this week?
Yes, so we'll talk about that after these messages. This is the manga recap for chapter 1134, The Owl Library. You could read this chapter and all chapters as soon as they come out from shonenjump.viz.com and mangaplus.shueisha.co.jp. Legal, free, available everywhere. What are you doing? Go read it now. Ed, what's going on the cover of Shonen Jump?
Well, the cast of Jump have been transferred into plushies, and they're in a claw machine, it looks like. And you can see the stitching on the drawn in on the edges there. Look at the exquisite stitching on Roboco's knees.
Wait.
I'm not sure if they're supposed to be plushies or if they're supposed to be like felt, like sewn felt, like patch style.
Is there a difference? I don't know. This is not my forte.
Yeah, well, because of the stitches around stuff, it looks like when you have the fabric and you just stitch it onto a surface. The
further back you go, they look there's like different styles.
They're just chibis,
yeah.
But they look adorable. That's the thing.
Yes,
they do.
You know what? Actually, maybe Oda's the only one who did that stitching thing, because now I'm not noticing it on.
I didn't realize that Edward Elric was in Shonen Jump. Now, yeah.
Who is that?
I've been
the
missing
Forelock
out
there.
The
little antenna.
I guess it must be Sakamoto Days because he's right next to Sakamoto.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's the same style. The Akane is very cute there too. I think we were talking about her earlier.
With her Rakugo fan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
She's great. Sorry, we could talk about Akane Banashi another time.
And I may be biased, but I do think Oda's looks the best. He's got the nice coloring. It's great. It really pops. Yeah.
I would agree. They do look great. Yes.
Like everyone else is going for like the flat, like cell shaded look.
Mm-hmm.
His actually
the rest look like charms.
Yeah. Like the rubber ones that you
exactly.
from your phone.
Wait, I have one like next to me. I have Kaido somewhere here next to me. Anyway, not important. No one could see
Mine are
me
hanging
anyway.
on my Christmas tree.
I don't have a Christmas
There
tree.
you go.
I'm gonna go cry in a corner now. Anyway, Alex,
Don't forget to water your Hanukkah bush.
not the shrubbery. Alex, what's going on in the color spread here?
We have a beautiful color spread that is very clearly a tribute to Kazuki Yao retiring. It's a gigantic Frankie robot that is flying over the sea at a great velocity at an alarming speed, followed by seagulls, and all of the Straw Hats are on top of him.
Some of them have super soakers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of like Super Soakers, military fatigues. Basically, they're all armed to the teeth, which is what Frankie would be as well. On where the BF 36 would be on his shoulder, it says "We are eternal," and that like broke my heart.
Yeah, that's very cute.
Yeah. So, everybody's got crazy, awesome drip. I particularly love what Robin's wearing and Sanji's shirt.
What is on Sanji's shirt? I was trying.
Looks like a aloha shirt.
It's like a pattern.
Pattern? Okay.
It's like a paisley sort of thing.
I think Zoro's outfit is both kick-ass but also, funny. Like
it's very like the sort of military fatigue sort of style. Like I feel like you could definitely find some other color spreads where he has had similar wardrobes for them.
The army one they did one in Brand New World, and then they did another one later. I know the Brand New World one was based off of a color spread. That's my only frame of reference.
Yeah, especially
poor Brooke.
Brooke and Usopp with the green, the camo green style look.
I like Jinbei in the back, so serious, just like protecting everyone.
Yeah. He's doing.
Who else is going to do it?
He's almost doing the like Lord help me, I'm going back to the old me pose with his gun.
Yeah,
pointed up.
What are with these kids and their stupid super soakers?
What is that? The meme with the Bugs Bunny in the tuxedo?
Yes. Yeah.
In my day, we had BB guns, is what he's thinking, or whatever the hell they
pea shooters.
We're gonna put someone's eye out. Yeah.
This is actually, I really like this color spread. Even taking away the emotional aspect. Frankie's, the whatever robot you want to call it, looks really nice.
It kind of looks like that Jack in the Box from Fantasia 2000. If anyone knows what I'm talking about.
I think I do know what you're talking about, and I think
that freaky Jack in the Box.
It is freaky looking, but it's good. It's well done.
It's impressive that he managed to get as much sort of life into this, considering that the quote unquote human part of the crew is basically packed into less than half of the image, because Frankie takes up so much space. Like everyone is kind of in a box on the top.
It's like Robin reclining on Frankie's head.
Yeah. Oh no, that's Nami.
Robin's on his fist. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, Jinbei, I blink and you'll miss him. He's just
Nami grabbing Luffy's leg like she's airbrushed on the side of a heavy metal van.
I mean, that'd be a pretty cool.
Yeah. Jinbei's like, I'm new here. This isn't about me.
Yeah,
I do love.
Luffy's like, get off my leg. I'm trying to shoot something, and
these birds are gonna get it.
Yeah.
What I really love about the robot is how much I don't know, like. It's almost like this is what Frankie's ultimate goal is, just to be this thing. Mm-hmm. And it's, I don't know, like it fills me with a lot of emotion seeing this thing. What I love is I love the what do you call it? The raised bits.
Like the studs?
Nails?
Rivets?
No,
studs?
rivets.
Yeah, rivets. Thank you. That's the word. Yeah. That's how you know he's a robot.
Mm-hmm. he's got rivets.
Otherwise, when he talks, he says "Robo." That's how you know.
Yeah, or Mecha.
Or Mecha.
Yeah, that's right.
Or transform, but there's a pun in Japanese. I like this one a lot. Look forward to if or whether it comes out on a calendar. By the way, the One Piece calendar this year, A+. This is a very good one.
I haven't. I didn't get one.
Ed, you gotta. I could make sure you get it if you haven't ordered it already. But
no,
you know what?
I haven't.
We'll do this later.
Thanks.
Mine's shipped. I don't know where it is.
Yet. Is it on Amazon JP? Because I couldn't find it on there.
It might be sold out, but I'll look.
Okay.
We'll get Ed his.
I was looking on Kino to pick it up at the store near me.
It's a good one this year. There's less shameful ones that hang on the wall if someone random pops in, and you could, think about what that means on your own time. Alex, let's start the chapter.
Right. So we start the chapter with a bang, which is a sound effect that we haven't heard since the Wano arc, which had replaced Don at the time, as was the style in Wano. And Luffy is doing his Yakuza introduction pose, similar to how Jinbei officially joined the crew, and he says, "Old Man Saul, a long time ago you did a great favor to one of our young'uns. Thank you kindly. Begging your pardon." And somebody on the crew says, "Where and how did you learn that?" And Luffy continues and says, "Well met, good sir." Robin introduces Luffy to Saul, who says, "Yeah, I know about Luffy. He's famous. So you found him after all, huh, Robin?" And we have a much... I think... I don't remember Saul looking like this last chapter, but looks like he's got a Elbaf-style Norse mustache now.
Braided.
It's all braided up, yeah.
I'll point out, too, that, yes, Luffy's speech, as Alex said, is definitely modeled after Jinbei's. And if you go back and look, he's actually he's kind of reciting it, but it's sort of out of order. He's kind of doing it backwards and is not really doing a great job of it. But he's trying. He's doing his best to mimic the way that Jinbei did that very formal introduction. When Luffy does something like that, he's engaging in monkey D, monkey do.
Okay. Monkey D, monkey do.
Who's next?
All right.
And we turn the page.
Sam, yeah.
And Robin says, "I did. Just as you said, I found them, Saul. I found the true friends who will stand up to protect me." And then everybody has to turn away and sob. They can't stand to let Robin see their crying faces.
It's the same people who were crying the last time. The same
just a
ones who are
repeat.
looking forward. Yeah.
Yeah. Sanji's face is excellent. It's a combination of shock, love, and just utter emotion. There's a lot going on there.
Yeah, well, what they're saying here is they don't even have to think about it. It's an involuntary response. They'll protect her for life.
They'll protect her for life. And you got Luffy down below saying, "Aha, of course.
That's my job."
And then Saul says, "Listen, all of you friends of Robin, thank you for coming all this way to Elbaf. Sorry about the surprise and all. I rehearsed it over and over with my assistant, Angie." Angie? Ange?
Angie. It's Ange in Japanese, but...
Ange.
Yeah, I would just say Angie. It's fine.
"Years ago, I was in the Navy, so I know what a big deal the Four Emperors are. Thank you so much for keeping Robin safe. All I can say is keep it up." And in the back, everyone's like, "Yay, you bet we will." And then we got Lilith flying in. "Hey, Saul, it's me. You remember me, right? I can point at my face and you'll recognize me, right?" Saul's like,
"I'm Sam's second favorite character."
How are you flying?" It's like, "I'm Vegapunk." What?
I hate to distract, but I do want to say, front-facing Jaguar G Saul can't hurt me. It's terrifying on both of these pages, or on all these pages. I don't think it was a thing in the original flashback. I don't know what's going on.
We're looking up.
I think it's the mustache. Right, yeah. I prefer not front-facing. Let's just keep it that way. Anyway, not really as much of a, not really as much. Well, a lot of people have underbites. Jinbei has an underbite. Anyway, we see a lot less of that on this next page.
His teeth are so round, though.
Jinbei's? Oh,
No.
yeah.
Saul's.
Yeah, no, you're right. I think it's the Darashi laugh and how he's doing it with the front facing. It's like there's a whole, I don't know, it looks like a weird Muppet. Or no, it looks like the Canadians from South Park a little bit. Is how I'm thinking about it. Except front facing. Anyway, Jinbei is like, to Lilith, who was talking about who she is, says, is this what you wanted? This giant futuristic container?
Science case.
Vega? Science case, thank you.
It's a Ghostbusters prop.
It is. And by the way, the government never would have figured out who it was in there because there's a big sticker that says Vega on it. Well, what could that be about?
It looks like there's a timer on it as well, or something like a pressure gauge.
Yeah, I think those are just mechanical
science dials.
That's it.
For science.
Anyway,
keep it under pressure.
Lilith says, yeah, that's perfect. And you see Gerd here trying to help in the background, literally. And Jinbei saying, yeah, Vegapunk requested that we bring this from Egghead. What's inside? We should have asked about that earlier. And Lilith answered, it's me. And Luffy, shocked that it's another Vegapunk clone? How is that possible? Clones? I understand splitting yourself into 6 personalities, but clones?
It should be one of those clone slugs from Venture Brothers.
No, it shouldn't. So we see Lilith floating down here, bringing the case, saying, it's not a perfect recreation. It's not like...
No, that's literally what she says.
Oh, I'm sorry. It is a perfect recreation, not like a satellite. Sorry. That's me being tired. This was the me who came here 20 years ago, and you see a picture of Stella. Although 20 years ago did not have the apple head antennae, but it's fine.
True.
Just the apple top.
Someone better have gotten fired for that blunder. And we see that...
Does the clone keep the apple top?
I mean, it fits in that box, so it has to.
Yeah, it has to. And also the rest of the severed head is floating in the sky. Let's not forget that. There's a severed head floating in the sky.
Its tongue hanging out, as you do.
Well, yeah. And I think this is Robin saying, "Don't you think the government would be?" I'm sorry. This is Lilith. You know, I read it fine the first time I read this, and now I'm just messing it up all over the place. Don't you think the government would have been suspicious if the Stella left his lab for months at a time? Huh? Come on, idiots! Think. As I see, that's feel like how it's going. Anyway, she does her tongue thinking thing, which is exactly how my son thinks. Anyway, I snuck him out in a vat of biofluid, but I don't have the facility to safely extract him. That's why I intend to settle here and build a new laboratory. And you see little Kid Bonnie in her actual form saying, hey, does that mean you'll be able to make Daddy all better? And Lilith is like, yeah, of course. I'm sure nothing bad is going to happen in this chapter. And she...
The people who shouldn't be excited about this. Like, why don't you paint a giant target on my back?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. If there's anyone who'd be aware of the fourth wall here, it would be Lilith. Anyway, Lilith says, everyone says yay. Saul responds that, if you're really Vegapunk, then I am delighted to see you after 20 long years, but I can't quite wrap my head around it. Why are you a woman? And she says, who cares? I could explain later. Yes, Saul. Mr. Saul, by the way, that's Dr. Saul. Like,
no, actually, that's something I'm going to have to go back and change because we didn't know the context because they kept calling him Saul Sensei. We didn't know the context of it, and in this chapter, it is revealed, that he's basically a teacher, and so I was like, well, all right, we'll see another giant where they call her Miss something, and then. So it's sort of like, okay, well, he'll be Mr. Saul to the students and stuff. So, yeah, he's been downgraded.
Giving him a PhD without.
We looked into his credentials, and it turned out, he did not have a degree.
I'll ask Dr. Gomez your thoughts after.
Mr. Jaguar is his father.
Anyway, we have some kids who I could have sworn was just Chopper, Sanji, and another Chopper hanging out behind, right? Right?
Yeah. No.
Yeah. Hanging out behind a root. These are 3 kids we'll see on the next page. Saying, "Oh, are you done now? Can we play?" And Saul is like, "Oh yeah, sorry about that. Thanks for your help, kids." And here we see Angie, who we were talking about before. Normally, she explains, this spring is a playground for children, so we had to ask them to stay quiet for Mr. Saul's little one-man act. You did all that, and she saw right through it. That is
a lot of work for nothing.
Yeah. Anyway, she says, "Forgive the late introduction. I am Mr. Saul's assistant, Angie. You could tell by my hat that I am the assistant. I don't have the cowboy hat. That would make me the t-shirt. Anyway, I assume, Dr. Gomez, you wear a cowboy hat everywhere.
Oh, absolutely. I got that at my graduation. That's how you get hooded. You have to have the cowboy hat.
It's instead of a mortarboard, they give you a cowboy hat.
Academic regalia, yeah.
Yeah, and then you say howdy when you get your diploma.
To be fair, would be less ridiculous than most academic regalia. The Juris Doctor one is interesting too. It's like, did you get it's like the big floppy version of the mortarboard.
Yes.
It's like puffy. Yeah, that's fun. Anyway, says, "Sorry to talk down to you like this." Huh? Mm-hmm. Luffy's below her here because he's tiny. And says, "We run the best library in school in Elbaf here. I am not biased." So yeah, our librarian, Saul's assistant, Angie. And Ed, what's next?
She continues, "I can show you around if you'd, And then we hear a, "Whoa, this place looks fun," Luffy interjects. And, someone says, "They're already gone."
Yeah, that's Angie.
That's Angie.
Yeah. And, I guess maybe this is what Usopp's saying. This is where warriors of Elbaf get their elite training. So we hear, "That's the Walrus School, where the children of Elbaf learn. Saul founded it 20 years ago at the behest of the former king." And we hear, "Wow, that looks so neat. So it's basically a warrior training ground, huh?" And looks like some of the Straw Hat crew dashes off to sort of just go in and look around. They leave him in the dust.
I love the design is just incredible. All the detail, again, just the assistant's work is amazing.
Yeah.
I want this in my backyard so
it looks
badly.
A bit like C-Lab.
I see what you mean. I mean a tree version of
with
Tree
the sort
Lab
of
25.
With the sort of pod rooms on the end there.
Yeah, no, I see it.
They look like little birdhouses.
Yes,
I was thinking of Zoe when they had all the pineapple houses, all the suspended structures and rounded. Yeah.
I like the walrus head with the graduation cap.
Yeah, the mortarboard. There it is.
Yeah.
That's Dr. Walrus.
It's not a cowboy hat, so no, sorry.
Oh, right. I forgot. Wrong world. It's just a Walrus BA. Yeah.
So all proper doctors wear cowboy hats here.
So they run off towards the building, and then Saul says, "So long, Anja and Gerd. Show them wherever they want to go." Is that Nami saying, "Let's go, Chopper. I'm more curious about the library. All the books are all the books here too." I haven't been in a school in ages. I guess that's Brooke speaking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. "And I'll protect you, Nami," says Sanji, of course. And is that Frankie saying, "I'm curious about this island's giant tree"?
I think that's the one line that Frankie has this chapter.
Yeah. After that big intro splash.
Yeah.
And so then we hear, "Pipsqueak humans, catch him and take him prisoner." Nah, yeah. That's Luffy saying, "It's a land of giants. Should I slash him? Don't even think about it." We hear, "Yeah, I guess kids are meant to be brats."
So that's both Zoro, the slashing him, and I assume the kids are meant to be brats.
Yeah.
It's like, you know what? I won't kill them because they're supposed to be
They're just
assholes.
being kids. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll kill them when they're adults and they're still acting like this.
Yeah. You knew I was a scorpion when you let me on.
Sam.
And then the young girls show up to scold the boys. They're like, "Stop that. Don't chase the humans around." And then the boys are bowing their heads like, "Sorry."
Oh.
And then Luffy's just remarked that the kids that were just chasing them are such wimps. And the girl's like, and don't call them pipsqueaks. That's not politically correct. And Zoro's like, are these brats really from the village of warriors? And one of the kids says, hey, you're not supposed to call us brats. And Usopp says, wait, this is weirding me out. Listen, you can call us pipsqueak humans. It's fine. And you guys are going to go out to sea one day and fight ruffians, aren't you? But the kids are like, no, that's dangerous. What? Aren't you guys the next generation of Elbaf warriors? Now we're taking offense to guys. And just a total comedy of errors of communication here.
This poor one kid has like a Tetsuo, like bald, receding hairline on the right. Yeah.
Big 5 head on this one.
Yeah.
No, it is like Tetsuo.
Yeah.
And the kid next to him looks like he looks like he should be in like Mad Max. And Usopp's
I do
what?
like how Zoro and him, that kid, have the same classes, showing that they're both bratty kids. Anyway, go ahead.
And then one of the kids is like, "That's not in anymore." So adventuring is out of style.
Well, no, that wasn't a kid saying
that. Who is saying that?
It's not in.
Let's read on.
Yeah, read on and find out.
It's not in anymore. Zoro says, "Oh, whose voice was that? It was an adult's." And Usopp still just having to go 1-to-1 with every statement. Like, what do you mean that's not in anymore? And the kid's like, you should probably move. You're gonna get yelled at. And camera pulls out, and we see that the surface that the crew has been standing on throughout this conversation is a woman, is a giant woman, walrus school biology teacher Ripley. And,
Ripley was mentioned as one of the people that Colin was taking food to.
Believe it or not.
Yes. Yeah, believe it or not. This is her.
Is Zoro jumping off, or is he just like turning and like grabbing a sword? Or
yeah, it looks like he's like tensing up or something. Like, whoa.
Yeah, I think it caught him off guard, even though this should have been pretty obvious to all of them. Yeah. Like to the reader, I get, but anyway,
we're on top of a giant. Sorry, and she's like, "Oh no, you're fine. You're not that heavy." Is this shocking to you? When the warriors of Elbaf were ransacking the world, that was 100 years ago. Insults, violence, pillaging, war. That's just not the world we live in anymore. And Luffy's like, "What?" And he's like on like a bounce house between her boobs.
We call that the Shirahoshi. Is I believe.
I think it happened with the Tontadas and Robin in Dressrosa as well.
It did.
Very similar. Yes.
I wonder what is going on in Oda's head, potentially over the last 2 decades. Anyway, go ahead.
Do you have to wonder?
No, I don't. I was being sarcastic.
Anyways, I love this design. I think she has a great like the
yeah.
I don't know if it's I guess it's a tattoo line maybe that she has like through the eye all the way down like her leg to the bottom. Super cool.
Alex,
she kind of feels like a Viking Black Maria.
What it feels like to me, Alex, is Trill a little bit.
I was gonna say like
I knew there's a reason
Zach's the only one who's gonna. Yeah, it's very Trill.
Yeah, it is very
Trill-esque.
And not
Curzon Ripley.
Yeah.
Or Jadzia Ripley.
Jadzia Ripley, yeah. Oh, no, it's Ripley Dax. It would be.
Ripley Dax, yes. By the way, her design, I think, evokes the main character from Horizon.
Yeah, that was my touch point.
Yes. I in complete agreement with you. So, we go to the next page, and Ripley says, "Welcome. I heard about you from Saul. You must be the Straw Hat crew." And in runs Anjay, who goes, "Oh, they are. Sorry, our brats are." Oh, well, I guess Ripley says, "Sorry, our brats are so damn annoying." And Anjay says, "Hey, your tone of voice." And the little kids, you hear them say, "Miss Whipweed, that's mean." And she says, I teach by negative example." Oh
wow, she say it.
She lifts Usopp and Luffy up with a bam, and she says, "The great King Harold once said, 'Don't fight other countries, trade with them.' He got into many arguments with the village chiefs and their traditions." And Usopp continues to, like Sam said, 1-to-1, King Harold, or I guess it's Harald, King Geraldo Rivera. Yes, he was a great king who tried to reform this country, says Anjay, and was killed by his own son before his dreams could be realized. I wonder if he was killed by someone throwing a chair at him. That's another Geraldo joke. Nobody's going to get.
Or he just
but the country
smashed him over the head with a chair when he was in the bath.
That's right. But the country refused to give his son the throne, and so Elbaf has no king now. Okay, history lesson over, says Ripley. And tells the kids to go show them around the school. They comply, and they all go. Ripley asks Luffy, "Why aren't you in your white-haired form, Captain? I was looking forward to that." And Luffy says, "Oh, that's my free form." Nobody's really sure what that means, but Ripley mentions that there's a warrior who looks like that in Elbaf's mythology. And he's like, "Oh, yeah?" Ripley continues. She says, "It made my heart race. We're the last generation of warriors here." We sort of do a little pan over. We zoom out of the Walrus School, and we see the Owl Library, and we do sort of like a sly pan over, and we hear Saul saying, "Oh, so you already heard most of the story. You already heard most of the story. I fled for my life and managed to get here to Elbaf." And we go to the next page.
Dr. Gomez. Yep.
Yes, that's me. So as we get to the library, we see Saul and, of course, a couple of the Straw Hats standing by his feet. He says, "But I couldn't help but worry about the books scholars gave their lives to protect," which makes me cry because that's super true. So I asked Harjudin's crew to take me back to O'Hara, sorry. When I found all of these tiny books clinging to life, I wept. And we, of course, remember that sad scene. So then Soul opens the door. Robin and Chopper are walking in. "Come on, Robin, but watch out for that book." And she's wondering why. And then out of nowhere, the book turns giant out of her hands. And Chopper's like, "What the?" And then we
watch out for that book.
Then it's a beautiful image where we see how big the library is. And there's an amazing owl with, I think it's a cloak or a coat on the branch. And then Saul... "There is she. Ain't it something? All of those books are now giant size. Every book you bring in here turns huge. This is Wondrous Owl Library. In here, you'll find all the texts that O'Hara protected 22 years ago. We searched all over the island to find every last one. You can check. They're all here." Oh, and then Lily's also walking with them. Robin starts looking around. She's very surprised. She remembers Dr. Clover. "This is the world's best library. You like books?" And after that flashback, we see Soul saying, "I can't believe I finally get to show this to you." And then Ravi looks teary-eyed as she looks up to the books, knowing that all the knowledge was and has been protected so far.
So I'm assuming this is a location-based power of some sort.
That's what it seems, right?
Maybe it's
just in the library.
Yeah.
No, Vegapunk had... I mean, I guess it could have been. It feels more devil fruity to me personally, but maybe
I was
not.
going to say, what if the owl has a devil fruit?
I could totally see that. I love that there is an owl in the owl library. That makes me happy.
That's cool.
And there was a walrus over the door of the walrus school.
But there wasn't an actual walrus as far as we know.
Just the head.
Just the head.
Just like the song.
I mean, unless it's unless he's just hanging out there, stuck in the in the frame of the building.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just say that because it feels like almost like a room ability, like laws.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's very cool. This is such a touching scene, and the assistants again.
Amazing.
Oh my god, I just want to go here and read. I know I'm amongst nerds, but I know people listening aren't. So, my son's room is close to looking like this, though. Anyway, Steven.
And then we go to the underworld at the base of the tree, where we find Loki again. And he's saying, yes, you're almost as bored as me. And someone, we can't really see what this is yet, but there's a little tiny silhouette on a rock sitting next to him, has a sort of transmitter, such as a transponder snail perhaps, saying, am I bothering you? And Loki says, nah, I could use a conversation partner, and I've got all the time in the world. And he says, are you still traumatized by that experience you were telling me about? And then we get a much closer shot where we see that what he's talking to is a snow transponder snail, which is described as a cold-resistant speech recognition type. And I think when they say speech recognition, it's kind of like a voice activation thing. Like my assumption is that that's there so that Loki can talk to this person, whoever he is talking to, without being able to use his hands, because he can't touch the snail to activate it or whatever.
Huh.
So that's my assumption about
but who is he talking to? That's the question.
Yes, who is he talking to? The mysterious person. We see the snail is kind of furry looking, presumably to protect against the cold, and it says, I am still traumatized by the experience. Yeah, I am even now. The memory makes me tremble uncontrollably. And Loki says, hurts me to hear it too. I've never met you nor seen you, but through some twist of fate, we've long been friends. So whoever this is, yeah, they've known each other for a while. And he says, if I were there in your place, I'd have razed it to the ground and killed them all instead. It was a big close-up shot, very menacing. And the snail says, I wasn't hoping for that much. And Loki says, and that's why you're so weak, Shaggy. Listen, you don't want to let these fools get away. You put them down for good or they'll come back for vengeance. And for some reason, well, I'll get to the Shaggy thing in a second when I'm done with this page. So for some reason, the snail says, why, thank you. He says, what? I've recently realized that those fearsome words of yours hide your kindness. And this infuriates Loki. He's like, don't make me sick. How dare you suggest such a thing? I'll not have you sassing me like this. Me? Kind? Never say that again. Oh, please, don't shout. Don't shout. Shut up. Just you wait until I get these chains off, Shaggy.
By the way, this is how I take a compliment.
Yeah. This is a really interesting scene because, yes, we have no context for this, for who this person is. They do speak. I can't tell. There's no way to tell for sure if they are masculine or feminine. They do use a very neutral, polite speak. So they, it kind of sounds like maybe even like a butler or something in the way that they are talking to him. My assumption is based on the way that Loki is reacting, that it is probably a man, just because I feel like there would be a different sort of interaction between the two. But I don't know that yet. Now, the Shaggy part is interesting because what he calls them, and I know that this is probably a point of interest because from what I could see, the scanlations used a different term. So what he says in Japanese is mosa ko. And mosa is just katakana. It's just a sound. And then ko is a kanji that means a bunch of different things, but it in terms of a title or a form of address, it can mean like a duke or a lord or something like that. However, colloquially, when it is used in certain manners,
so it's diminutive.
Yeah, it's more of a
nickname.
It's more of an informal and possibly derogatory thing. So it's kind of like a nickname ending. And you see it a lot in manga when, like, I've seen this, for example, when there's a character who has an animal sort of theme to them. A lot of times when like people are like sort of sassing them or taunting them or something, they will refer to them as the animal name and then ko at the end. So like I was even looking this up because I could have sworn that someone had, for example, called crocodile at some point in the story Waniko, which would be similar to calling him like alligator boy or something. Like you're literally referring to them as the animal. So like I thought
that was how Ivankov referred to him.
It might have been.
Well, Ivankov literally says Croco Boy.
Yeah. Ivankov has a slightly different one, but I couldn't find a confirmation. But
the
that's
buggy one?
It's the sort of thing that it would be used in that way.
Baby.
If you had a dog-themed character like Yamato or like Inuyasha or something, if you called him Inuko, that would be like calling him a mutt or something. So it's not a super common thing, but if you read, if you follow manga for long enough, you will see it pop up from time to time. And so Loki says, Mosako, and it's the sort of thing where, like, to me, it screams immediately like, okay, this is a nickname. Like it's a sort of, very loose, like this is not this person's actual name, which begs the question, like if Loki has never met this person or seen them, does he even know this person's name? Because it's not very likely that their name is Mosa. And so what Mosa means, therefore, is it is short for Mosa Mosa or Mosatoshita or a number of different derivations of Mosa, which means like shaggy or hairy or unkempt. And so my assumption is that he is talking about the look of the snail. Either it's the snail itself or the character who is talking on the snail has that appearance. We can't say for sure at this point. But yeah, so when he says shaggy, he's almost certainly referring to the look of the snail here.
I think I learned this one from Sergeant Frog, because when they get blown up in that show, sometimes they come back with like afro wig hair.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that gag.
Oh, interesting.
Or if it's Blackbeard.
See, could be.
I was thinking about Blackbeard possibly, but
I was thinking about Shaggy from Scooby.
Oh, well, likely.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
So yeah.
Where my mind went, it reminded me of like Luffy's nickname for Kid, which is like Jaggy.
Yeah.
And then because Shanks is on the mind, I was like, oh, is this a nickname for Shanks?
No. Well, I mean, who knows? Like, this is the thing. We don't know what this person is on the other line. So it could be anything.
But the Shaw is not in the Japanese then.
No. The Shaggy, the language is Mosa. So it could, I mean, there's a possibility. I think it's pretty unlikely, but there's a possibility that the name will have something Mosa that starts with Mosa or something in it. But in terms of the context of this scene, like the Shaggy, like the use of this as a nickname, that he doesn't know what else to call this guy, is very strong. I would not say that it is Blackbeard just from the way that this person is talking. It is very, very uncharacteristic.
To be fair, Blackbeard has a very specific way of talking and laughing.
Yeah. So yeah, we don't know who it is, but it's a very interesting scene. There's a lot you could say about like the character dynamics of what's going on here and what this might mean. But I've already spent plenty of time talking about this language thing. So we will move on. I'll just knock out these last two pages here. We cut back to the western village of Elbaf, where there is merriment afoot. We can't even see the giants. It's just a little panel of the village, but they're stomping and tromping as they are wont to do. And people are like, hey, the feast hasn't even started yet. We're just drinking as we wait. It's a little too much. So they are making merry. But then, in a slightly larger panel, we get a better look at the castle, kind of hanging out on the top of that little branch outcropping. And there is a somewhat familiar looking black lightning effect that goes doom right into the center of the castle. But no one seems to notice. They're all in the pub. Brogy is here. They're raising a toast. They are making merry. And then we see an interior of the castle, and it looks kind of fucked up. Like there's some big gouges in the throne that we can see in the background, and even it looks like there's maybe some stained glass windows that are broken behind it. So this would seem to suggest that if this is where King Harold reigned, that it has indeed been unoccupied for a while. And more importantly, however, there are two cloaked figures sitting on the ground. Da-doom. And then the so-called camera pulls back to an overhead shot, and we see it is the five-sided summoning circle star effect that we saw the five elders use on Egghead. As it hisses, and the flames and the smoke are kind of billowing around them in the wake of their summoning. And then we get two close-up shots where we see one who looks very much like Shanks, very reminiscent of the time that we saw him in the Chamber of Power, or whatever it was that I called it.
I know, 8.
When he talks to the five elders about a certain pirate. And then there is another figure who I would say has a feminine eye, and some bangs, and their face is kind of covered with bandages.
The figure in the foreground with the lump in the hood there, it makes me think that's Garling with Garling's hair under the hood.
You think that's the Shanks looking guy is Garling?
Could be.
I mean,
no,
I don't think
Garling
so.
is old as hell.
Yeah,
now.
Garling is,
Oh,
is
yeah.
old. He has whiskers too.
Right.
So
the girl looking one looks like she has like a brimmed hat under her cloak as well.
Yeah, there's you can see the fold of the cloak, but then there is a cord hat. Maybe that's a cowboy hat. Who knows?
Maybe she's a doctor.
Doctor.
She could be a doctor. Yeah.
Cowboy chic.
Yeah, her collar kind of looks like a Celestial Dragons thing also.
Oh, like the bubble. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the armor, like the kind of, right? Can it also be?
Yeah, I'm thinking like an armor kind of colored thing.
Yeah, it's hard to tell, what any of this would look like based on just the cloak panel itself, because it's pretty amorphous, just that they're human looking. But that is the end of the chapter. What does this mean?
What does this portend? I'm going to start, Stephen. I know you have to run, so I want to hear what you think first of these developments.
Yeah, there is so much to say about this chapter. It is a crazy one. I thought it was very it doesn't have quite the same level of I guess sentiment or emotionality that the previous chapter did with Robin and Saul's tearful reunion, but it definitely did have some of that as well, with the the sort of the saving of the books and unveiling what he's done with them. So it did have a nice emotional ring to it, but overall, I just thought this was it's just a fascinating chapter. Like, it felt like every scene, every different vignette that he gives you, whatever the focus of it was, it felt like it was executed very well. Like the fun stuff is fun. Like the silly interactions are very silly. The kind of mystery and the intrigue of the Loki and the possibly Shanks scene at the end is very mysterious, and just sumptuous background art. Like the designs that we get to see are just amazing. It was like every couple pages you just have this incredible view to take in. It feels like they've been, like Oda and the crew must have been working on these things for a while, and now it's just like we won the lottery. Like, we just get so many cool, amazing locations that are so picturesque and fantastic stuff. I love Ripley's design. I think that's she's a real. I love the eyebrow design too. That she has these kind of upwards pointed, kind of carrot CARAT shaped eyes, which sets her apart slightly from the usual designs. But I think she's a very appealing looking character, and the social dynamics of the, what's in Elbaf and what's not is, there's so much to unpack there. And I feel like the gateway to this was probably Oda doing a lot of Viking research and, looking through all the Viking materials and stuff. And you can't help but contrast that to the modern day, where countries like Denmark and Sweden and Norway are like super duper peaceful and very progressive. And like, there's a strong social safety net and all of these things where people don't have to worry or fight for their, way of life anymore. And I feel like he's definitely doing some contrast.
Yeah, fighting isn't cool anymore. People don't want to be adventurers.
Yeah, and it is, man, it's interesting because it's like there's a part of that at least from I think from our perspective, like you look at that and there's definitely a part of that is like, is this some kind of like tradition, like return to tradition, like super conservative viewpoint that he's toying with here? Because there's definitely some echoes of that. I don't necessarily know that was intended.
These children must all have living mothers, huh?
Yeah, I guess so. That they're not raised to go dreaming of going raiding and stuff like that. But it is really curious, and it is really funny too to see like the illusion shatter into pieces for Usopp. The El Bibabu, where he's showing up and he's like, "Where's the katanas? Like, where why aren't you guys like I saw in my animes?" That's kind of his reaction here with the kids, which is very funny. Man, yeah. What else? The Loki scene I thought was also very evocative. It like the way that because he has this conversation partner who he clearly has talked to a lot, because he's talking about how they've long been friends even though they've never met each other, and there's this like sort of automated snail that is able to converse with him at any time. And he doesn't really have, he can't turn it off. He can't stop talking. So there's almost this sort of like almost brainwashing type of or a devil on the shoulder or angel on the shoulder, where it's like, who is this person and what are they trying to get out of Loki, or how might they be trying to influence Loki by telling him these stories? There's a lot of possibilities, but I don't have all day to go into them. Yeah, I don't know. I'll leave you guys to talk about the potential Shanks stuff, but
well, I want to ask you before you leave at least. Well, actually, I can't even ask you. He doesn't say anything, this guy.
Shanks, yeah.
I was gonna. I guess I don't know. Did you get a chance to revisit chapter 907, which is when we potentially last see this character, if not Shanks?
Because to be honest, like, it was a super dense chapter, and there was no text in this scene, so basically I saw it and I was like, what the fuck? That's Shanks is showing up again. Like, what? That's crazy.
Why is there that transmutation circle?
Yeah, why is he doing the Five Elders thing? Like, that's kind of creepy. I mean, obviously it reminded me of the scene where he goes to see them in Mary Joa, but I didn't know. Like, I did not see until the chapter came out and I saw everybody talking about, like, evil twins and Shonks or whatever goofy nicknames they were giving him. Like, I didn't even think about that. Like, it just wasn't even, I was like, oh man, there's so much to think about. But I was so busy with the text itself that, it was just like, okay, well, whatever. There's no text on this part.
Have we had an evil twin thing in this series? I mean, the closest, I guess, is Doflamingo and Corazon, but they're not twins.
Sanji's brothers.
Yeah. Evil.
Well, that's evil quintuplets. Yeah. That's very different.
Evil clones, and I think it's interesting that the Vegapunk clone is being brought up here.
Yeah,
so like maybe to get that idea back in our heads.
I will say though, with the clone thing, it's that there wasn't a lot of success with it before. I think, except in Mads, but I don't know. Yeah,
boy, Oda sure cleared up a lot of the consequences of Egghead in about the span of about 2 pages in this chapter, didn't he? Here we got Vegapunk's clone, and oh yeah, we'll fix Kuma too. Like everything is going to be fine.
Well,
okay.
I
so
feel like
say.
Yeah,
so
I was going to say that's more of a like we'll be able to fix this, but something's going to interrupt it in the story probably.
Possibly, yeah.
It feels very likely. So the reason I brought up chapter 907 again while you're here is more of how that conversation progresses between this Shanks-esque. Well, we need a name. Shanks, Delta. I don't know. Between him and the 5 elders and how they address him, how he addresses. I mean, it's also not only the same angle, but they're also wearing a cloak. Not that cloaks are all that uncommon in, well, maybe I'm thinking of Star Wars, but it is a very interesting thing. And 907 is immediately where my brain went. Like that is the first thing.
I'm guessing we're sticking to this side of his face because otherwise we'd see
the scar.
The other side doesn't have the scar.
Right.
So if it's like a prestige thing, then prestige we'll call him pranks instead.
Okay.
It's Liquid Shanks.
Liquid Shanks. Okay.
Liquid Shanks. Okay.
Go. All right.
Lots of good options there.
Yeah.
Any other questions for Steven since I want to let him go? Before he goes. Any translation choices, which I'm sure I'm going to remember.
5 minutes later.
Yeah, just the Shaggy friend guy, sort of goading Loki on to have him go on a rampage again, maybe. Or is
it's
that
like,
Loki?
Is he goading him on to go on a rampage, or like all the stuff about? Oh, your kindness that I like. Oh, you sound mean, but I know you're being kind. It almost made me think like, if this is his punishment for killing King Harold, is this the like we're trying to rehabilitate him or something? Like we're trying to reinforce his better nature or something, and it's not working very well.
Do we think that it's the? Is this like some third party who's not associated with Elbaf who's talking to him, or is like
I don't know.
Or somebody who's imprisoned, perhaps.
That's my instinct.
Do they say it? I'm trying to. It's so difficult to like absorb what they're saying because it's so out of context. Like we don't have any context for this. So like reading it, you're like, oh, okay, I don't know what I'm really reading. It makes me wonder. I assume. Well, here's the two things. Did Loki leave Elbaf in the past? I think is one thing. Well, but you said that it's likely they never even met, which I do agree with you there, Steven.
Well, I mean, he says he's never met him.
And someone had to put a Denden Mushi there.
Well, then I definitely... Sorry. Yes,
someone put it there.
Can Denden Mushis just like slime their way into place? Just travel on their own?
Yeah, but not with the transponder on it. The snails themselves could, Yeah, I don't know. I'm assuming it's Elbaf or related to what happens at the end, potentially. But more likely, I think it is probably just related to Elbaf. Yeah, go ahead.
I think one of our regulars on the Discord, I'm sorry, I don't remember which one, they made a list of like, here are all of the mysterious figures involved right now, and there may be overlap because some of them may be the same person. But it was like, okay, so who is Shaggy? Who was the figure walking around near the bear? Who looks like the guy who was drinking with Crocus?
Who's that bear? That creepy bear.
The bear. What? Man, now I'm forgetting. There were like 5 different.
I'm going the man with the burn scar.
Yes, the man with the burn scar was one of them. And let's see, the Shaggy, not Shaggy. Who are the figures that teleported into the castle? Which
Rox.
He's
always around.
Conclusively assume is not Shanks. And the burn scar. So there's just like there's a lot of different overlap, and some of them might be the same person, but we don't know for sure. I think we're at like maximum mystery at this point.
We could always get more mystery.
The maximum mystery tour is coming to take you away.
Oh, that's good.
Oh,
that's a good.
I was going to make a mystery van joke, but that's good too.
Mystery machine.
The mystery machine. Here comes Shaggy.
Oh.
Yeah. So, Steven, thank you for coming on. I think you really did a good job translating this chapter.
Thank you.
Couldn't have done it better myself, and I mean that because I couldn't have done it at all. So I'll let you go, Steven. Before you go, I think we're doing our Live, Laugh, Loof.
That's our
magazine
tentative plan. I think
tentative plans is to do the 19th magazine installment, which I'm excited about. To round the year off. We'll see. Holidays, things happen.
Yes.
But where can people find you?
Follow me on Blue Sky at stephenpaul.bsky.social. All right. Have a good one, folks.
See you, Steven.
Good night, Steven. Bye.
Bye. So now with Steven gone, we could talk about what we really think of the trip. No, I'm kidding. Dr. Gomez, your thoughts on the chapter?
I thought it was a really interesting one. Again, the mysteries, we are maxed. There's a lot to figure out. But a couple of things I really enjoy. The library was just beautifully, that panel was so well done. It made me cry, as a scholar. Just everything with Robin and research, archaeology, it really reaches my heart a lot. So I love that.
She was holding the archaeology book, which turned giant.
Yeah, honestly, that's my dream. I want a full library of giant books, and I just want to live in them. That's what I want to do the rest of my life, as nerdy as that sounds. The one thing for me at the end, seeing the pentagram show up, I'm starting to wonder if it's Emu's powers or if we're going to tap into another source of powers for the show, like magic, because that's pretty much what it looks like. I don't know if it's like a devil fruit that's helping people teletransport. And also, are these two people God knights? Are they gonna be part of the final celestial dragon villains that we get to face, or are they just something related to Elbaf? And are they normal size or giant size? Because
it's very ominous.
Mm-hmm.
Which is what I like about it. It's the most intriguing thing maybe that's happened in Elbaf so far.
I would just say about the size from the perspective shot at the end, I feel like they're regular human size. And you could kind of see the chair on the top left there.
Yeah, it looks really
like
big.
It's the same size as the circle itself, and they're little tiny dots. So that makes me think, they're probably just regular old puny. What did Pipsqueaks? I think was the term.
Yeah. Also, if they had easy access to Elbaf this whole time, and their villains, could they have invaded earlier and just wipe out this kingdom if it's that much of a threat? How are they getting access to the country?
This is a good question, and why now? Yeah, there's a lot of good questions there.
Also, I'm gonna buy a bunch of cowboy hats now for every time I have to present as a doctor. I think it's just the next thing I need to do, and I'm just gonna make sure they're all pink and glittery.
That's a good idea. The glitter shows extra doctorness. Yeah. Any other thoughts on the chapter?
I'm just excited to see where everything goes from here. Elbaf is, again, a story, one of those arcs full of history references and social cultural aspects that are just so appealing for me and anyone in the audience to look into it. So I'm just excited, and I want to see more of Robin. I want her to get another cool fight. The Black Maria fight in Wano was great, but it left me hungry for more because she is my girl, and I just want to see her kick some ass.
I'll say, if there's a fight and Robin is fighting, there's nothing more than Saul and these books that I feel would motivate her. If they're in danger of any sort.
What if someone's trying to burn the library or something?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Again. It does feel a little played out. I don't know if Oda would actually do that again, but maybe. Sam, if Dr. Gomez, if you're all set. Yep. By the way, did we mention the thesis you're doing and all that for this episode? I don't remember.
I can say it super quickly. So I am a cultural anthropologist. I'm a researcher. I'm in this super big project researching One Piece all over the country, and I'm under an academic grant. I'm going to Japan next year. I actually thank you for saying this, like, because I'm gonna be sharing with you and all the members in the podcast. I put a progress review document, like a PDF, super cute and everything, that has everything that I've done so far, and it includes your interviews and the quotes that I'm gonna use from when I was able to meet you guys. So, I'm gonna be sharing that after the holidays, and yeah, I'm very excited for the project. It's getting huge. Me and my research fellow, we've been traveling a lot. It's getting exhausting, but it's the best thing I've ever done in my whole academic professional life so far.
We're gonna get that UNESCO
yes,
cultural heritage label.
Cultural patrimony. Yes,
patrimony. Sorry.
The One Piece Tokyo Tower should be a UNESCO World Heritage Site.
Well, if it existed.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it was still open. Yeah.
One of these days we'll get that back open. Sam, thank you for saying that. I realized I did not give a correct introduction to you at the beginning. Sam, thoughts on the chapter?
Couple thoughts. I love the background art throughout the chapter, especially the big establishing shots. But those establishing shots, like the tree and the library and the throne room, like they're all scenes that I kind of wish could have gotten the full 2 pages to themselves. You know.
Yes.
Like it would be nice if there was like a couple.
Like we're back in Marineford.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like this has kind of been the MO for a while. But yeah, I wish these were the kind of scenes I could just get these big, full, breathing room. And then like from there, it's mostly just like, okay, where is the clone stuff going? Because if it, you know, like they're kind of walking that line of like, okay, are we moving One Piece like too far into just like now being like a science fiction thing, or is this just like one ingredient of many?
It's just limited
is this
to
something that can, if is this something that's going to be bringing dead characters back to life, and if so, like what balancing act are we walking there? So that's purely in the like this could go in so many different directions. Some of them I don't think I would like very much, but some of them could surprise me. I think I'm honestly pretty surprised that the cloaked figure from the Five Elders meeting earlier in the series. I was kind of in the camp of like I think that maybe is Shanks. Like this is this rare environment where like Shanks can have a polite meeting with the government, but now it's seeming like it's possibly a twin or a clone or something. I don't know. Like I encourage the story to take like real wild swings and pull like big sensational twists, but
red haired pranks.
This is like red haired pranks, liquid Shanks.
Well, what if there are seraphim versions of the Yonko?
Seraphim versions of the Yonko. So like,
then...
Where's the green blood then?
Well, we haven't seen what's underneath the cloak.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I mean, like that would imply that they were born a lot earlier than the Warlord ones.
Oh, so wait, you saying that the other cloaked figure might be Mom? Like a younger Big Mom.
I mean, they did have Kaido in prison for a while, you know, and Vegapunk was in experiments to clone his devil fruit.
Ooh, interesting.
But then would they have all the other emperors as well?
Well, I mean,
and the way that the elders were talking to, who you know, Shanks Delta or Liquid Shanks or whatever we're calling him, Liquid. The way they were talking to him. They said something to the effect of like, well, because it's you, you're allowed to come see us. Right. And the Seraphim are very subservient. You know, they do whatever they're told. It seems that from the very little that we've seen Liquid Shanks, he's been pretty, I don't know. Like he's like, I need to tell you about a certain pirate. It seems like he's got more wherewithal than just the mindless Stepford wife business.
All this Liquid Shanks talk makes me wish Maddie was here doing the episode image this week.
Yeah, well, me too.
I hadn't considered because they did have Kaido for a while, so like the idea that maybe they would have cloning opportunities for him at some point down the line. That's a little off topic, but I had not considered that. That's something I feel like would be a pretty crazy twist if that came
and maybe
up.
not perfect clones, but something similar.
Right.
The reason I'm hesitant to buy into that particular theory, as fun as it might potentially be, is that the Seraphim feel like an evolution of something that Vegapunk was creating with the Pacifistas,
right?
All those versions, like that was the next step. So she, Lilith, or any of the Vegapunks wouldn't have gotten to that point until recently. The Seraphim just came about recently.
Yeah, the Seraphim are kids because they were born
recently, right?
Of years ago, or I don't know if they grow fast, but
I think a regular old clone is on the table, and I'm sure we'll talk more about that too. But yeah, that's why I'm a little hesitant about that. But I like that idea as a concept. But
with clones having been introduced with the with Germa, like Germa has their like genome soldier army.
Right.
So like this is a theme that that's been established. Like this is like a thing that's been going we've been going in this direction for a while. It's just a matter of like, I'm guessing like the different groups all have kind of like their different methods that have their own like kind of strengths and drawbacks. And
we have had clones before with Stussy and Buckingham. We know Vegapunk has done it successfully and put them in the government.
That was the first successful clone, though. Like it specifically said. So that means.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. So like if Liquid Shanks here is roughly Stussy age.
I mean, if we're going down this road and opening it up, I really think it's a sibling more than it is.
I mean, that could be.
With all the speculation that Shanks is from the World Nobles.
Someone called him blue-haired Shanks. That would be the two versions.
Right.
I forgot.
What if this girl here is like the sister? What if that's
oh, these are just like Shanks siblings.
Solidus Shanks.
So it's another Sanji situation with evil siblings.
What if his name is Skanks and he's super into ska?
God, I hate all of these scenarios. I like ska.
I'm not drawing that one.
No, don't. I was gonna say don't draw that one. And then I think I also saw maybe on our Discord people mentioning like Bonnie and her potential father and their we've talked about like, okay, I guess since there's the Celestial Dragons only have a limited amount of people that we know, they must be related, Shanks and Bonnie. Bonnie will always be the crux of who's someone's mother, daughter, father, whatever. But it's a good mystery that Oda has put down. I personally, the one thing I agree with Sam, I thought the same thing as you, that for sure this was Shanks up until this point, but now I for sure don't think it's Shanks. I'm definitely
now definitely,
because it doesn't. He was just there. Why would he do?
Yeah,
this
where is Shanks right now? He
just left. They just left.
He just left Elbaf.
Yeah,
he defeated Kid. And he just.
Oh
left.
wait, I forgot something. Let me go get my keys.
That's a pretty interesting dramatic situation too. Like if they're brothers or clones or whatever, and like they're just like kind of always missing each other.
Ships in the night,
traveling around.
Yeah. I'll talk more about that after. Sam, any other points?
Not in particular.
Alex,
or I think it's interesting that Saul would ask the question to Lilith of why are you a woman?
I think it's more why are you not the person that you were originally?
I mean, it's both. I mean, like it's a it's a curiosity at most.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you were an old man with a giant head. How did this happen?
Yeah, and
she's just
like,
"Oh,
the rest of your head?
Who cares?
The rest of your head?
Go?
It's
a sex thing. Don't worry."
There's really good plastic surgeons in the Grand Line.
Well, Vegapunk is his own plastic surgeon here, probably.
Most definitely.
Alex.
Yeah, great chapter. Like I said earlier, totally loaded. Luffy's very cute here with doing his, begging your pardon. I guess maybe trying to talk like Jinbei.
Someone mentioned
Straw Hats are very Straw Hatty this chapter, especially like Usopp being the disappointed weeb.
Oh yeah, no, totally. Yeah.
Someone mentioned what do we call him? El Bafaboo, I think. Someone mentioned that Jinbei literally says begging your pardon when he shows up on Wano or Onigashima. So yes, you're probably right, Alex.
Yeah. Yeah, so kind of I usually do this in order, but I'm kind of circling back to our blue-haired skanks talk or whatever, Liquid Shanks. That kid Colin, who we saw in the previous chapters, who's like super enamored with Shanks. I bet like he's gonna have some sort of a crazy scene with this guy, thinking he's Shanks, and he's like, "What are you doing? Why are you doing this, Shanks?" I feel like there's going to be like some sort of big scene with him.
What about Luffy?
Well, sure, Luffy too, but Colin specifically, I don't know, just because I feel like he was shown for kind of a reason, and yeah, he could be part of the next generation that goes to sea after this series ends. But what I do find interesting too is this. The world is at peace for us. We're woke now.
I mean, it actually seems like it's odd that Oda would write that, given his sort of opinion on adventure and stuff, that these kids would be completely disinterested in that. Maybe it has to do with their negative reinforcement teacher.
It's possible. I do wonder if there's a reason that they're sheltering them away from it. And maybe, Luffy's heroics in this particular arc are going to turn them around on, the new old school of.
Well, he's sort of proving their mythology.
Warriors. Yes. Yeah, I think once everybody sees him in his Nika form, I don't know, that might be something special. The clone stuff we talked about pretty much at length. Background art, again, amazing. It's really bringing Elbaf to life. I really freaking love it. It's one of the coolest places that we've seen in this entire series. Just really, really Oda running wild here with his imagination here. I guess we don't quite have a reason why the books enlarge when you go into the library, but maybe it's some sort of Vegapunk technology, or
that's what I thought.
Maybe the library ate a devil fruit,
or the owl,
or the owl. Yeah, this sleepy owl. Every scene with Robin and Saul is really, really nice. It's really great payoff. It's cathartic payoff for.
You found your friends. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's good.
It's truly like something that like we really like. Oh, as soon as we find out Saul's alive, this is the kind of thing that we wanted to see. So as for Shaggy, I don't know. I don't really have any theories on this character yet. But I think it's interesting that we have 3 new players who have entered the battle arena or the chessboard in this chapter. 3 of which that we don't know hardly anything about, and we're gonna have to wait a little bit before we get any sort of answer, I think. I'm just upset that the Giants' party is gonna be interrupted.
Ditto.
It's a big bummer.
I thought about that. Yeah.
So, anyway, those are my thoughts. I thought it was a really, really terrific chapter.
To piggyback off of that last part, Alex, I was bummed all the Straw Hats forgot that they were going to go party right after this. Was it the whole thing? They were going to come down, say hi to Saul, then go back up and drink. But no, I want to see this. I want to see this. Yeah, come on.
They've had enough parties
to be fair.
lately.
To be fair, they had some good party. Yeah. You could always have more, Sam. What are you doing? Dr. Gomez, you have to go as well. I should probably let everyone know. do you have any where you would like people to find you or?
Yeah. Yes, I have to go. I am on Instagram. I am Watermelon Queen. I've been posting a lot of updates on my research when I go to more conventions or events. When I was in New York Comic Con presenting, I post about my panel and some of my research parts. When I have my big progress report is going to be there too, so for everyone to have access to. And as I just want to say, thanks so much for having me again. You guys are such an amazing crew, and it's always such a pleasure to be around amazing people that love the passion of One Piece. So thank you.
That's why we do this.
Thank you.
Well, I'm gonna head out. Bye.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah. So what did you think of the chapter, Ed?
I mean, it really deepens the mystery of what the hell is going on here. Like the arrival of mysterious figures and whoever is talking to Loki, and sort of the children of Elbaf not wanting to follow in the footsteps of their ancestors and go out to adventure. I think Luffy showing up in Nika form is going to do a lot for that. Yeah, maybe at the party. Who knows? But yeah, this is probably the best cliffhanger that we've had in Elbaf so far. I'm so hyped for next week.
Well, I hate to tell you, the manga's off next week. Jump is off next week. Yeah, it's that time of year. Yeah, I should have mentioned that at the end. Mm-hmm. Any other thoughts, Ed?
I do appreciate the art. I mean, I do like the look of the school and the library. As I said, it kind of looks like it reminds me of C Lab with like the pod buildings on the end of the structure. But just the mystery deepens. No resolution, so it's not. I wouldn't say it's a satisfying chapter, but it definitely builds up the next few chapters more with the developments that are going to be happening.
True.
I don't know. Other than that, I don't have any sort of theories or comprehensive thoughts. I've said my piece.
Okay. Thank you, Ed. For coming on.
It's good to be back.
Yeah, it feels like it's been a really long time because we've had so many
like breaks. 6 episodes.
I know, too many.
Yeah. I saw it when I opened Audacity today.
That's crazy. I've also been on less because we've had so many freaking breaks. Okay, so it's my turn, I guess. I have to speak. Yeah. No, this was a really, really good chapter that went in a direction I really didn't expect. I'm torn. The evil twin thing does feel like kind of a trope, but also Oda has used tropes like that before. I mean, amnesia for Sabo is the first thing that pops out. It makes me sorry I had interrupted Alex, but when you mentioned Cologne, I was or however you pronounce it, colon, or it made me really think of Luffy is going to go up to this guy and say, hey, oh my god, it's Shanks, finally I get to see you, and just get walloped or something. And it's that, like, the Mr. 2 thing, or the Bon Clay thing of, like, you can't punch this face, that kind of thing. And for Luffy, Shanks is Luffy's kryptonite, to be fair. Like, that could be interesting. It also provides us the opportunity for a Shanks-esque person to be a villain. Like, we've often been going back and forth as to Shanks's role. This makes me much more on the side of Shanks being a protagonist going forward, for lack of any better term, than an antagonist or some other party. And it makes me wonder how Shanks is going to be involved in the story in the future. And the thing about the end that really stumps me is, first of all, I thought the pentagram was a 5 Elder Star thing because
there's 5 of them.
There's 5 of them. And I believe there was the number 5 on it as well. So they had like a signatured version.
Huh.
This is also one of the clearer views we've had of one of those pentagrams. So in an ancient looking language, which I'd be curious how it relates to, like, poneglyph ease or whatever you want to call that. now I'm like even more stumped. I feel like this threw a real wrench in how I think we had thought, and I almost had been confirmed that the five elders were at least kept alive by Emu, connected to Emu in some sort of way. Saturn's demise a few months ago.
Yeah, I thought so.
A few months ago, yeah, Saturn's demise seemed to prove it. However, it looks like the teleportation is not a thing that is related to that. And I would add also the teleportation for the five elders, we learned that they all returned back to from whence they came, for lack of a better term. Saturn did not, because he did not use the teleportation. It makes it feel like there is a way, the way to defeat these people or people who have teleported is to somehow get them to go back. I don't know how that happens, but it seems like it was incidentally accomplished, at least by Emmett at the end of Egghead. This chapter really does feel like an extra cowboy hat on Egghead, and that arc. I mean, we talked about kind of like the convenient plot devices with the clone of Stella, with the stuff with Kuma, but this is Egghead stuff that's coming to Elbaf, that's following the Straw Hats. That's why I think it is timed like this, because the reconstituted five Elder Stars, led by what might be the father, Garling, of this individual, since we know Garling did look identical to Shanks. We talked about the stuff from Film Red being potentially Shanks' father or relative. It would add an extra wrinkle here. This makes sense that, he would send his son potentially to deal with this situation that Saturn fucked up, like to clean up his mess. That's, some very interesting stuff that could come out of this. This is a very good 2-week cliffhanger. Unfortunately, Oda knew what he was doing here. Does everyone agree that this is probably what was being referred to on the comment?
Oda message? Yes. Yeah. Yes, I agree.
The person who shows up, because I read that last night, I think, or whenever it came out, and like an hour later, I'm like, I guess that's what he was talking about. So there was only a little lag time there. Yeah, I agree with, I think, Alex, you mentioned the scenery is just absolutely gorgeous. I want to live in all of these places. I've always just wanted to live in a treehouse, so these, really hit it. The childlike wonder kind of stuff also, there's a lot of living vicariously through these kids, and like this little, like, it's a wading pool for them is now what I'm realizing. They describe the lapping up on the beach and all that, but it's just like this little pool that's there's a fence on one side of it, like they can't go too far into the deep end. It's very interesting to have this very childlike wonder thing. Like there's a real, I feel like we haven't like had this kind of like
these children suffer from a deficit of wonder.
No, I don't. Yeah, okay, that might be Oda's perspective, sure. But I don't remember just seeing regular, it's been a while since we've seen regular kids and being okay. And not destitute or in dire straits of some sort. And, maybe this is what Oda meant by, he probably meant parents are the opposite of adventure, but, boring is good sometimes, because sometimes excitement, if you've lived in this world recently, is could have some bad consequences for folks around. Sometimes boring is good. So I agree with these Zoomers here. I think it's just fine to not have to be a warrior race. Now, Usopp disagrees because this is not his personal nerd fantasy, but okay. The Straw Hats are all great here. I do like the Vegapunk stuff, actually. I love Stella, and I don't really care how he comes back. I want more Stella. And I think it also is that I do think actually will come to fruition, even if it gets stalled or if it's one of the reasons why these two hooded figures are arriving here and now. Because I feel like Stella having a role in the very end game of the story would be really fascinating. And this does put a good long delay on that. Other than that, the Robin stuff is always really just like not heart-wrenching, heart-filling. And the going backwards, the Luffy thing is really funny. I did enjoy that. I saw that first page because, they release it legally on 1-piece.com, and I'm like, oh God, what is happening here? But I like this speech really, I think added a ton to the gag. Anyway, final thoughts on this chapter. Anybody?
I'm good, thank you.
It's good. Anyone else? Okay. Going once. Twice. We'll see you at the other end of the commercial break or whatever this is. This is the Piece Together segment where we take your questions, comments, theories, and then we put our cowboy hat on and really think of what the correct answer might be. Shocked that there was no cowboy hat sketches this week, Alex. Shocked. I don't know what we would have done. I'm not asking for an actual...
I might throw in the Jadzia one if I just finish this episode image in time, because that's a fun...
I love you, Alex.
It's a fun thing.
I haven't seen the finale yet for Lower Decks, I'll say.
Oh, man, you got to.
I saw the ones leading up to it, and so far incredible. That series, for those who have not seen Star Trek Lower Decks, I know if you haven't watched Star Trek before, it won't make sense, but it's amazing.
It's a great show.
It's such fan service in the good way. Anyway, let's start with... Can I do this? I don't think I can. I'll try, though. Dispiece. First one comes from Narthon, who says, biology teacher, huh? Thanks for the podcast. 55 candles for Luffy Day says, Merry Nakamas to all and to all a good podcast. Today we celebrate a miracle where the manga should have only lasted 5 years and instead lasted 27 or more. I'm not qualified to make a proper Kwanzaa reference, but its origins of meaning of related to independence, freedom, and cooperation. So it's got the proper vibes already. Anyway, it sure is a good thing Robin has an ability where she could make a massive demon clone of herself. Huh? Now she could read the giant books without any help. I'm going to take it from boomers that it's easier to read larger print than smaller print anyway. So I think it's just turning the pages. I feel like that'll be the issue. Personally. Next, Sailor Karna's Universal says, Happy Holidays, OPP. May your cups overflow and your tables stay full in this upcoming year. Thank you. Hey, nice comments from everyone about next year. Usopp D. Great says, Hey ho ho ho, OPP. So when things stay on Elbaf, they become giant size. Then when they leave the island, do people also get big? Could you overwhelm Elbaf by showering them with ping pong balls? And then the balls grow big. I think the library is, by the way, what. And the balls grow big and push everyone off the island. Just thinking about how this may work. And also more of, quote unquote, those guys and their pentagram transport system. And it was such a nice, peaceful visit. Happy New Year to all and to all. Good luck. Any thoughts on, I guess... maybe misunderstood that it goes through all of Elbaf, but for the library, if it works for everything or just books, it seems like just books.
It's got like a book curse or spell.
That's what seems.
Is it a devil fruit? Like what actually would do that?
I still am a subscriber. It's the owl and it's a devil fruit.
What if it's magic? Like straight up magic. I think they talked about that in the last SGS too. That Oda said that he'll never have magic, but everything about Elbaf seems to defy all science and logic.
But there's some sort of logical cohesiveness to it. Like, even though obviously these things are ridiculous, there's like, well, the rainbow works like this because it uses this and this and this. Not saying it makes sense, but saying it. Next question comes from Straw Hat Pirate 9, who says, holiday greetings. As always, Oda and Jump Fest to give the greatest gifts of all. This chapter was great. We got cute, proper Luffy. He learned that from Jinbei, right? And to Robin saying that she found her true friends. Like, I didn't cry enough last week. Thanks, Oda. Seeing more of Elbaf. Ripley is the perfect name for such a badass giant. To that Loki moment and the cliffhanger. As always, the wait will be hard, but so worth it. All good stuff.
Indeed.
No, Mom, you idiot, says, oh, rats. Alex is laughing. He's muted, but he's laughing. Oh, rats. We got a color spread instead of Yamato's cover story. Don't worry. I'll ask a Yamato related question to fill the void. Ken out there is very happy about that. Hey, OPP, before Oda answers this in an SBS, what do you think Yamato smells like? Not good. It's going to be my answer.
Like a dog.
Yeah, actually a wet dog. Yeah. Sorry, I was thinking if my dog was here because I didn't smell anything. Professional Poyo says, howdy OPP, amazing chapter to end the year, chock full of great new characters and shocking reveals. One thing I'm wondering, did no one ask Lilith why she was lugging around a giant science machine onto the ship? Thank you. That's what I thought too. I know Jinbei's a gentleman who wouldn't say no to carrying a lady's luggage. But still, on the same note, how do you hope Oda handles a possible clone of Vegapunk? Do you think it would undo the impact of the original sacrifice, whether the clone has his memories or not? Happy holidays.
I mean,
was it a real sacrifice, right? Yeah, go on.
I hope it's complicated. I hope they don't. It's not, the thing that's supposed to be easy to bring him back turns out to not be easy, and that maybe they only bring him back for like a brief period of time to like flip some switch in like some clutch moment or something, and then he has to die again. Yeah, that's how I think it should work. And I think he will be connected to his big brain, the way that all the other Vegapunks are.
I think that part is absolutely true, which means that he would have all the memories. He'd be caught up. I don't really think it's a cop-out, though. Like, Vegapunk didn't die in, like, a self-sacrificial way. Did he jump in front of anyone? Like, he didn't do anything. He just got shot by Kizaru.
He got stabbed by the scorpion tail.
Yeah.
And that's why Sanji was, like, lugging him around the whole time.
Right.
But he didn't get, like, a moment. He didn't get like a death moment. It's like he's just like dying off on the side.
The speech, I guess.
And he's given the speech, and we're like, oh, I guess. And this is the speech that's supposed to come when he's dead. But like, there's not like it felt very informal. It felt like very.
And also, since his will, like he's literally in these other people. Like his brain is still alive. It was, and we talked about it a little in the manga recap, I think. But the concept of death and Vegapunk it's explicitly mentioned by Marcus Mars, I think. And it's like, oh, so what is death? If you're still alive, your head is still here. It really brings about some interesting philosophical questions. I don't think it's a cop-out, because I don't think he's really dead in the same way as an Ace or a Whitebeard is currently, even before the clone thing. It adds another little wrinkle, but
it raises some philosophical questions, like if you have a sex with a clone of yourself, is that incest or masturbation?
100 years late. Oh, sorry, Alex.
Sorry, I thought that was a response to Sam's comment. 100 years late.
100 years late? Never. Says,
you asked that question too late. We're all doing it now.
When people are listening to this in the year 2150, and they're like, well, that was prescient. Ahoy, OPP. Guess the old saying, 100 years too late is true for Usopp. He was 100 years too late to see the Elbaf of his dreams. Or was he? Ripleyverse, Eyepatch said, okay. Hey, OPP, I want Ripley to teach me all about biology, but like in a lesbian way. On a less sonata note, how do you feel about today's color spread? Do you think it's a tribute to Kazuki Yao, or did 4Kids somehow censor the guns into Super Soakers again? And what happens if I bring my giant-sized X-Men to the Owl Library? Does it get even gianter-sized?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. If you brought your giant-sized man thing to the Owl Library, it would get even more giant-sized.
I like the suggestion that the Kazuki Yao tribute and like 4Kids censorship are mutually exclusive.
Yeah, there's a Venn diagram there, and that's this color spread in the middle. Wisdom Pythagoras. Alex,
yeah.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, we covered it earlier, but it's a great color spread. That's definitely 100% a Yao tribute.
I think this was mostly sarcastic, or joking. Wisdom Pythagoras says, hey, OPP, what a chapter this week. So many answers and so many mysterious, as we said, maximum mysterious, in classic Oda fashion. Mysteries, sorry. The whole idea of moving away from war and toward trade that Geraldo, is that what you said? Harold championed was also the same exact thing that Carmel was trying to promote 63 years ago. We should note that she was also doing that in her fake persona, not her. Anyway, as mentioned by Chief...
Separate the art from the artist, Zach.
Yeah, okay. Chief Jarl and Yorl, could it be that Carmel and the world government were trying to destabilize Elbaf from the inside by turning the Proud Warriors into human-loving pacifists over the course of decades? Is that why Loki was given a special bounty for killing the world government's puppet? Could that also be related to how the magic circle was able to be spawned inside the king's castle? So many possibilities. Happy holidays, OPP.
Wow. I mean, if we know anything about Oda, that is that he loves political intrigue in One Piece, and we haven't gotten that since Dressrosa. I mean, I guess if you count Wano being, the whole country rolled under a despot.
I'm not taking the pacifism of the giants as like a wholly negative thing that needs to be turned around. I think it's like kind of like a bittersweet, like, oh, like the times really are a changing.
Yeah,
and
that's what it felt more like. I mean, it's called Warland Elbaf still, so I wonder. I don't know how that's gonna play, and I will hold back my thoughts on it until we see a little bit more. But boy, those kids, they really suck. That's what everyone said there, right? No, those people are very mean to those 3 kids. Or 6 kids. Next. Oh, Alex, you read? No? Okay. Hopkins Hat 15 said, hey, OPP, how it be? Do it be merry? I hope so, cause the holidays are here. It might as well be Christmas time in One Piece, because that library is Robin's greatest gift, other than her friends. What are your favorite holiday gifts that you received as a kid? Alex.
Ooh. First and foremost, when I was a kid, the Ninja Turtles pizza chucker vehicle, or it's like it's a vehicle for the Ninja Turtles, and you put batteries in it, and it has these little discs that look like pizzas, and it shoots them out. And they've started to reissue old Ninja Turtles toys, and they have it at Target for like $30.
Target has everything. They should sponsor us.
Yes. But famously the best Christmas gift I ever got was my Nintendo 64. Before that stupid other kid got viral, And I can tell you it was before because he got the Atomic Purple version, which didn't exist when I got it, which was the year it came out. Yeah, it was 1996. I had no idea I was getting an N64. My parents gave me a VCR box. I opened it up, and there was no VCR inside, but a Nintendo 64. And I jumped up and down. I said, "Oh my God," 31 times. I did like a weird like a pointer finger thing.
What?
And there's the entire reason I know that I did all this, I remember it all to a T, is because the video still exists.
I was gonna say,
home movies.
You watch 30 Rock, right?
I love 30 Rock.
Yeah, this reminds me of, what is it, that when he barfs, but from excitement, Jack Donaghy.
That would be very funny if I barfed.
Or that's what it was, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Because my answer is going to be, there's a home video of me getting my Game Boy Color as a kid.
Oh,
and it was Atomic Purple.
Ah.
Mine was
it's just like, it's fascinating to watch, like, me open it, and then, like, I didn't freak out because, like, I didn't, like, really know what video games were yet. I was a little young, but, like, you can just see my, like, silent transfixion as I'm just, like, staring at it, and you can see, like, the gears turning in my head of, like, oh, this is, like, setting me on a path.
Segue here. Mine, I think, is the Game Gear, and I don't know if people know my...
Yeah, buddy.
I don't know if people know my video game history, and it's that I was never really able to, like, get into video games when everyone else did, because I always got it, like, one system behind. Like, I'm playing Crash Bandicoot, and everyone has, like, a PS2, and, you know, or whatever. I forget, whatever. But I got the Game Gear when it came out, and boy, do those 8 AA batteries go quick every time you had to refill them.
Oh, boy, yeah.
Yeah, but it was super freaking cool at the time. Like, that was like the only system I got when it, like, happened. Not the ones I was asking for, but still cool. I asked for a lot of other ones, including a Super Nintendo that, like, broke the first day and then they never replaced. Anyway, yeah, I have stories. Any other thoughts on that? So that's it for Piece Together. Why don't we round off the show?
Mm-hmm.
This has been the One Piece Podcast, episode 848 for December 23rd, 2024, and we hope we helped you get away from your family for a few hours and to listen about One Piece. I'm sure everyone is sneaking away from their dinner table right now, putting an ear pod in and being like, AirPod or whatever, being like, listen about One Piece and not my parents' differing views on things. Anyway, I have no idea what Christmas is like. Thank you all for coming on the show. I want to give a big thanks to Dr. Gomez. Please check them out on social media and check out their thesis when that happens. Their big, many-page dissertation. Thanks to Ed, of course, for coming on the show. Thanks to Steven for coming on the show. Please check out Akana Banashi if you haven't. It's been getting, like, insanely good. And, you know, if you're missing out, well, it's still there. You could catch up. Sam, where could the good people find you?
They can find me on Blue Sky at lcsam.bsky.social. And technically, I am still on Twitter at Lucky Chainsaw. Otherwise, you can't find me on the One Piece podcast every week doing the anime recaps. We are on a hiatus.
Yeah, we got to retool. Sam, we could do a whole other.
We got to do Fishman Island recap.
Yo, we got to trim all of our old recaps.
Well, now that we got you on, Sam, what do you think of the new Fishman Island?
Oh yeah.
I watched 2 episodes and I was very, very disappointed, and I kind of stopped watching it.
That's the consensus.
Yeah, I've been sort of like on and off, like catching it, like skimming through episodes to see like what they trim, and the fact that they trim Soul King singing New World and then the thing exploding, and I'm like, that's like the coolest part. Why would you go over that? Brooke has so little screen time as it is. Like, just give it
it's really disappointing
give the people what they want.
Because it's a good idea and some good execution in it, but it's like, yeah,
I would love it if they'd given it like another couple episodes to breathe.
Yeah, I agree.
Or just cut different parts. Like I don't know. I haven't really watched past 2 episodes.
I don't know what
either.
else you can cut at this point.
I don't know. They should have just let it breathe as much as it needed to. You know, like cut out everything you need to cut, and then just
Kai final chapters international cut. That's what they should have done.
I think this is a better execution than Kai.
No,
in some ways. No, not in content, but in style. If that makes sense.
What
because
of the art?
Yeah, because the Kai
I think the art sucks too.
Yeah, but
it's
the Kai stuff sucks in the interstitial things. You know what I mean? When they would because it's so
they have
obvious.
Like in the eye catches and the openings and where it's
those
the weird
are fine.
Flat.
Well, I mean they were flat, but I meant the weird flat like between like when
they would have to completely recolor something.
Yeah, it's just
which is only a couple shots here and there though. Like most of the time,
I don't know. I really remember it for some reason. I don't know. That might be more me. I'm sure that I just said a hot take. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. Cool it off a little bit. Alex, where can people find you?
Well, you can find me on Blue Sky at dude!bluesky.com or whatever that is. Just look up my handle. You all know it. I'm no longer on Twitter. No, and Weeb Simpson's also not on Twitter. However, it is on Blue Sky. I will be at MagFest on January 23rd through the 26th. One of those days is Super Art Fight. I'll be there doing that. Steve Yurko of this podcast will also be there, and we will likely be seen together at times. So catch us, hang out. We want to see you.
It's like seeing both Shanks.
I'm speaking for Steve here.
I was gonna say it's like seeing both Shankses in the same place. It's like a.
That's right. We have liquid Shanks and solids.
Solid
Shanks.
Yeah. Oh, now I get it. Sorry, I don't play Metal Gear Solid because of the video game thing I mentioned earlier.
Oh yes.
Yes. You can find me at ZachLogan.com or OnePiecePodcast.com on, what do you call it? Blue Sky. You can also follow us at OnePiecePodcast.com. The website, we are coming out with written episode reviews every week by Kirsten Carey, who also does our music. Very talented writer as well. So check out all of that on OnePiecePodcast.com. We also have the entire 80-ish page thesis from Greg. If you have not checked it out, it's the end of One Piece. Talks a lot about it in last week's SGS episode, which I would also suggest you check out. Please also subscribe to us at patreon.com/OnePiecePodcast for a limited time. We are offering a 7-day free trial for our $5 and $10 tiers. So get on that. That helps us write more. It helps us get more art and stuff from the fine folks like Alex and Steve and Mike and Brodsky and Josh and Joey and Maddie and wow, we have a lot of artists. And written stuff like the stuff Kirsten and so forth are doing. And you could also find us at our phone number, which is 347-497-MAJI. That phone number again, 347-497-6254. Call anytime. With your questions, comments, theories, or what your cowboy hat would look like if you were a doctor. I will say we will probably be making some guest announcements for the new year on next week's show, provided that pans out, where we'll be doing the One Piece Magazine number 19. Live, Laugh, Loof, which is actually called Laugh and Moff. But it's a lot of fun. There's some really cool stuff in there, so I hope you guys give that a listen if and when we do that. And for everyone else, we'll see you next week for the One Piece Podcast. My name is Zach.
And my name is Alex.
Goodbye, everyone.
Happy holidays.
Bye-bye.